Welcome back to Potatoes. Rutan Cabbage coming at you for episode 9 of Empyrion Galactic Survival in Alpha 6. First off, this episode, I'd like to say I am going to give it a shot with the music. It's something the YouTube producers have not been able to do for the past several versions due to copyright infringement claims, which Empyrion has been working out with the music producer. They have stated that they own the full rights to produce it, yet the guy was continuing to block any music folks had added in. They have since replaced the music with either different music of his or perhaps someone else. I'm not actually certain on that point. But I decided to wait a couple episodes to see what happened with others that are producing. And I have been checking the bug forums, and actually the Empyrion forums, I should say, to see if there are any other complaints, and as yet there have been none. So I've decided to give it a shot. We'll see how this turns out. We will know soon whether or not I have to re-edit this thing and re-upload it. But, or I will know soon. You will see it up either way. We'll see how it goes. So with all that said, what's on the agenda today, as discussed last episode, is I intend to head up in space and explore the moon of Aquila. Likely get some Sathium and Neodymium while I am up there as well, because those will be required for the Tier 2 ship, which I will start for the CV. We open the character menu, if I can get the right button here. As you can see, though, I am roughly halfway through level 17. I have been doing some work around the area in between episodes, as I had suggested I would. As you can see over on this side of the base, I have cleared out a few of the buildings already, much as I had done in the beginning of the series on the other game saves. And I will continue to putter with that in between here and there as I go. I've got some things growing in all the plots inside, so I've multiplied my crops, etc. So everything is pretty much good to go at the base for now. The main objective in a medium term, I should say, not long term per se, is going to be getting enough resources, as well as level 25, of course, to actually create a cemetery, which will be our final ship, which is the one that you saw in the preface. Though I have actually updated it since that video. It is now the cemetery version 2. They were having some issues with the workshop, so I had to upload a new blueprint. At this point, I think they are both actually still on the workshop, because there were some subscriptions on the others, and I didn't want to leave folks hanging, but I will likely delete the original version in the next month or so, once people have an opportunity to pick up the newer version. So, all that, we have our ship sitting here, and I've got some food in the fridge so we don't have to carry it. Got ammo and all the happy things like that. So let's go right ahead and head on up to space. Actually, before I do head up to space, I'll just show you on the map while we're still here on planet. But I have also placed a few of the water generators and oxygen generators and like that. As you may recall, that was part of the reason for a delay last episode. And the ship is fully oxygenated, and I have some oxygen with me and the like as well. So that will have things all set. And with that, up we go. So I will see you in space. Very well, and here we are up in space. I see that there actually is a change. However, isn't there? Because... oh, wait a minute. I was going to say because it is now negative 200 in space, so that would explain the change in the EVA boost. However, like a dummy, I had forgotten that while I was turning the music on, I noted that there actually is a setting in there now to change it between Fahrenheit and Celsius. The setting has actually been there for a while. In Alpha 5, however, when you turned it to Fahrenheit, it's still displayed in the metric system. So, yay. Back to terms I can understand a little better. With that said, though, let's go ahead and open the inventory here and just see what our comfortable temperature range is. So, yeah, so negative 328 now. Okay, that's more than enough. Pretty good. Take a look at the map. And let's see. I'll go ahead and just set a waypoint for the moon in general. Or maybe I won't. Okay, I guess you can't actually waypoint planets, which is fine. We can see it on the map. So I'll go ahead and fly that direction. If I can get it in front of me here. And there it is. And I'll see as we're approaching the planet gravity, or if we get attacked along the way. As we're on final approach to the planet now, however, I will note, you can see basically the star pattern. That is the north pole of the planet. That is my target objective, much as I did on Aqua itself. I wanted to do a spiral view of the planet as I came down to do the scanning for the POIs and resources and all that stuff. And coming down near the North Pole, as you can see, you come in actually right along the northern border. So, how many resources do we have to find? Looks like there are certainly some. And it's interesting, but the atmosphere density is still in metric. It's 1 kilogram per meter squared, or meter cubed, actually, I guess it is. Temperature, however, is in Fahrenheit, so I guess they fixed some of it, but not all of it. I know that had been listed as one of the bugs in the error thread, that it did not change. But when I saw it, I decided to turn it on, and it did appear to work. But I guess only part ways, it turns out. Nonetheless, the numbers on my screen right now are certainly in my comprehension, let's say. And with all that said, I should actually make a waypoint marker, let's see, for where I'm going to start my spiral from. Oh, that's interesting. I guess I came down the south end of the planet, my bad. Yeah, it was South Pole, wasn't it? Not the North Pole. Which is fine. It's irrelevant, but I will continue my spiral pattern here on the dark, certainly. There's not much to see, and if we find anything interesting, I'll bring you back in. And that didn't take long. I only got a few meters, but as I see these small blue lights here down on the surface, reminded me that in addition to the Sathium and Neodymium that we're actually coming to get here, we would also like to pick up some pentaxid. There certainly is some at the bottom of the water on Aqua, but they're fairly few and far between. But as you can see in front of us, there is actually quite a few larger groups of them here on the moon, so I shall stop occasionally along these to harvest them, so long as there are no drones nearby. There is no wildlife here on the moon, so we have no fear of aliens, etc., unless they are spawning near a base. I'll go ahead and out and start harvesting these. If I can actually get out. There we go. And there actually was a comment left by someone, was it last episode or 2 episodes ago? I'm not even sure now. Related to the crystals. I had mentioned that the blue crystals are pentaxid, but I was actually facing one of the promethium rocks at the bottom of the water. But to clarify from that video, these hexagonal shapes, these are actually the same graphic image that they use on Aqua. Some of the planets are more crystal-like forms in a triangular pattern, but just wanted to point out exactly what type it was that we are looking at here. These are, of course, experience as well, so this will also help in the process of reaching the next key level for us. Collected everything in front of us around here, so I will now continue. But as I was running around, I was observing the temperature to make sure it didn't drop, and it hasn't. But I've noted that the body temperature, which is, let's see if we can actually view it by, the body temperature of the human body, while it says 25 degrees Celsius still here on the character screen, you notice in the top right that it is listed at 77 degrees Fahrenheit. That is either a miscalculation error via the program, if the coding is mistaken, but they do not have the translation right. For those of you metric folks, standard human body temperature on the Fahrenheit scale is 98.6 degrees. So at 77 degrees, as it's listed, we would at the very least be unconscious in real life. So I think I will take a snapshot of that and give them another small bug report. Certainly a trivial error as far as gameplay is concerned, but so long as the large number does not drop below the upper right number in that screen, there is no issues in the play, as I said. However, the scale is incorrect. So continue on around. Well, coming around the first loop, did find the farm, which in this POI is an external farm. And as you all may know, the growth plots have altered in Alpha 6 because they do need to be enclosed, or at the very least in the right temperature and atmosphere in order for the plants to grow. What I am seeing here, however, as you will notice, this particular POI directly underneath me here are usually the cave beans, which survive on Aqua on their own outside, but some of the others do not. However, up ahead here, you will also notice that the others are still living. The Ahax fruit down there is, of course, from Omicron, among other places, no doubt. And they are surviving here with 0 atmosphere, as are some of the alien honey, which are found on Aqua, and again, perhaps other places, but I can promise they are there. I can see, however, that the items inside the base are actually growing, so where it is enclosed are okay. Can't quite see if the aquaberry as well are surviving. They are exposed to the atmosphere, or I should say lack thereof, underneath here, but they are still growing as well. Take a snap of that as well. I'm going to give them a couple of fun snaps after I begin editing this episode this evening, without a doubt. That said, though, I'm just going to go ahead and land right here and pick the plants and throw them in the fridge, because they are as well experience. I'm not going to bother looting most of these places now. I will return for that, but for the moment, I will take the experience for the sheer act of harvesting, even though the resources I will receive are basically irrelevant to me at this point, because I have enough food to last for a while. I find this interesting also. I was starting to take snapshots as I was in here. I noticed half of these are alive and half of them are dead. I took a snap of that. But as I was out here, I harvested the Ahax fruit, and most of them died, all but one. So there's something a little odd. If it's a matter of first arriving on the planet, I know it does take a short bit of time for some of them to die. However, they would be consistent if we arrived and the playfield was created, because they've all been in here the same amount of time. So I can't understand why some of them would die, but some of them would remain surviving. It's kind of a strange scenario. Okay, don't laugh, but apparently it was not the body temperature in the upper right after all. You note the game is paused here because I actually did swap out just to confirm my temperature confusion there. And 98.6, or body temperature, is 37 degrees Celsius. I thought 25 was body temperature, but I know room temperature is like 22, which is, of course, what it displays, as you can see on the screen up here. But 25, I guess, is 77 degrees. So that is actually an actual a proper translation. I just misunderstood what it was. Just wanted to clarify that before I continued. And with that, I will continue. Very good. As you can see on the map, over here on the right, we've got all the resources. Oh, nope. Mr. Prometheum apparently, but close enough. Going to go ahead and mark a neodymium and collect some of that, as well as some sathium, if I can find some of that around here somewhere. Let's see. Sathium, I want to say, is rounded, kind of. What does it look like? Okay. Obviously, I found 4 of them along the way here. Silicon, cobalt. But once we find that, then we'll be on our way and do some harvesting to get the resources we will need. There's one. Now, one catch is that in order to create the Tier 2 vessel, which I will be able to get fairly soon, actually. I know I leveled at least once. Let's take a look here. So yes, we're level 20 right now. So now, upon obtaining the resources, we will be able to get the Tier 2 capital vessel. Throw these guys on, and I did get a bunch of the the pentaxid. So I have fuel to go between systems. But I will need to get some Erestrum and some Zascosium. I have not gotten much of that as yet. The rest we have, or will have, once I mine the Sathium and Neodymium, of course. But the Zascosium and Erestrum can be obtained from the space drones. They drop the flux cores, I want to say, off the top of my head. Each of which, in putting into the factory, will grant 2 Erestrum and 2 of the Zascosium. So what we need to do for 14 is kill 7 of those, or actually obtain 7 of those. It's not necessarily 7 kills, of course, because it's randomized loot. Because as you can see in my inventory here, I've killed quite a few of them here on the planet as I've been circling, as you just witnessed right here. It doesn't matter, it's a quick click on the mouse button and they're down. It's very quick, so didn't bother bringing you folks in each time I drove by one of them, but to our harvesting and go up to space and see if we can find some of the space drones. Well then, this could be a slight problem. I have switched to the resource mining, of course, with the drill. It is the Tier 2 drill that I am using currently. I did get one of those when I took over the large residential complex. However, even though it is fully charged, it is not picking up the resources. Started going through the Sathium down there and I wasn't getting anything. If you take a look in my inventory here, there's not a single rock among it. So it's possible that this, I don't know if the drill is bugged or I'll burn another ammunition just to make sure it wasn't thinking it was empty still. So I should be getting stone as I pound down through this, of course, and clearly that is not occurring. It should be appearing down here in the lower left where I'm circling as we harvest automatically. So I'm a little annoyed at that. I'm not sure exactly what to do about that. I am aware of the item menu, of course. If it comes to it, I'll spawn what we need if I can't actually harvest it properly. But something strange does appear to be going on at the moment. Wish I had the resources with me. I'd make a regular Tier 1 drill temporarily. I suppose that's an option as well. I can go back and get the other drill that came upon the game launch. Guess I will have to try doing that. As I'm flying back to the planet, I'd like to add also that the waypoints are actually working on the planet. As you can see, I just clicked on Akua to make a waypoint. It does not actually show on the map, which is what threw me. But in the second tab here in the map markings, it is actually in place, and likewise, it is on the visual screen. So it must work in similar fashion to the way you lock onto a planet in the galaxy map when you are hyperspacing. Very good. And there are at least space drones flying about. And there's one there. It's only partway back to the planet, but we'll go ahead and blow him up. I do love the new graphics. I may have mentioned that earlier in the series, but I like the new blazing flame icons that the drones, the space drones at least, have when you shoot them. I can back up to the appropriate place here and loot them, but with a little luck. Let's see, better turn my jetpack on or I'm going to go flying away. It's, hey, where'd he go? Oh, there he is. A little luck, very good. And we are starting to get the flux coils, the power cells. Those are what we need 14 of, so there's the first 3. I'll continue to do a ring around the moon, or around Akua rather, before I actually go down and land and pick up the Tier 1 drill, and we'll go from there. So, it turns out I do have a solution. As I was flying around killing the drones on the way back to Akua, you can see a dead one over in the distance there behind me, but came by a Sathium asteroid here in space, so I decided to try the mining drill on it, and as you can see, it is working. In the lower left there, we got some crushed stone just from shooting the rock, so I will be able to get the Sathium and Neodymium in proper fashion. As I've mentioned, both in last season as well as early this season, I believe, I prefer not to cheat. I don't like the free goodies. It's doing the work is half the fun, strange as that sounds. So I'll go ahead and mine a bunch of this, see if I can find a neodymium asteroid in the area. With luck, there will be one. There often is. And then we should be able to get back and begin our capital vessel for next episode. Alright, I got 2,000 Sathium. That should be enough. Move over and see if I can find some neodymium. Another comment relating to Alpha 6 is that I have read that they now have regenerating asteroids. So these resources should regenerate. And to be honest with you, I believe they actually are, because I drilled through the asteroid twice. Cleared out everything that was inside, and as I came back through, as you can see, there's quite a bit along the walls again. So these do appear to be regenerative. So that's a plus. Nonetheless, with that said, we'll go back over to our ship. And, ship, where are you? I do believe that the hole on the ship side of the asteroid is actually already closed. Where the heck did it go? Sometimes its map is a little goofy. Can't even see the silly thing. Oh, there it is. But as you saw me come in on this side, we started right in front of the ship. I have not moved it, but you can see the rock is entirely closed now. However, on the outside it is only visibly as stone, so I did leave some behind. That's the other reason, is so it would still show up on the map as a mining node. Once we do get the capital ship down, I'm sure I'll be doing some mining with the harvest drill. So as you can see, I have found some neodymium, pronounce it as you will, I suppose. In between the break here, between the last clip, I actually did post the 2 bugs that I had seen, so that's all said and done. Just finish up this task. I don't believe I need that much of the neodymium. Let's take a look here. Let's see. Blueprints F2. And well, 230, so it's not nothing, but it's not that bad either. Can manage that. On the way over here as well, I did get a few more of the flux coils, so we have enough of the zascosium and a restroom required. So now I will go out and start harvesting this resource. Turn your jetpack on, rat. Like I said, I just logged in, so it shut the jetpack off. Apparently the planet is... well, I guess it isn't that way. I forget. Down is not necessarily towards the planet and the space fields in this game. To me, that's a little bit confusing. Off we go to drill away. Very well. Seem to have mined this asteroid dry, but it did produce approximately 1,000 neodymium for me. So with that said, we'll head back to planet, though I am going to do it by way of the moon, because I am going to stop there one final time before I wrap the episode up, just to test to see if I can mine there once the instance has refreshed, since I could not earlier. It's the one part that I neglected to test actually before I made the report earlier. So I'll head down there and we'll give it one more shot. And the verdict is... apparently still no resources. I'm not seeing anything appear, am I? Negative. Well, I guess I'll update the post as I let the ship fly back to the planet. Actually, I can't do that anyway. I forget there's no auto run of any nature in this game, is there? So, alright. At any rate, back to planet we go, and I shall update them. And here we come in for our final approach. Make our landing and start things rolling. And yes, I'm landing upside down intentionally. Reason being, while I was battling with the drones up top there, I did manage to lose one of the cargo boxes off the bottom, which is a little difficult to get to otherwise, so see if I can do this, because I know it's going to be all backwards. Back, rotate, and up is down, I think, in this perspective, right? Yes, it is. Clunk. So we'll land her this way. And ship back in base. Have to do some repairs and such, but we'll head back into the crafting center and see what blocks we have available to dump in the ship blueprint, because it takes numerous hours to craft this by default, so there will no doubt be some waiting time involved. Let's actually take a look. I want to say, is it 17 hours off the top of my head? Oh, only 3 hours. Okay, that's not bad. With the blocks, then we should be able to get that at almost an instant spawn. So, well, maybe I can get it on the ground this episode. We'll have to see. Go in here and dig around a bit and see how I make out. And it's actually also a good thing that I came back when I did, because I did use the rest of the food in the ship, I think. Although with that said, I have some non-edibles left in the fridge on the ship. Since I just powered it off, I should go grab those, toss them in the other fridge. Let's see. Of course, I'm not going to be able to reach it because it's up there. Actually, I can. No, I can't reach it. Good. 1, 2. Oh, look at that. I actually did have 2 of the parathing fruits left. That helped a little bit with the food, but I was still low on oxygen. But that's no pressure here on Echo, of course. So, as I said a moment ago, let's go back over there and try this again. Very good. Now it's in the factory, and let's see how we do, starting with the blocks. Then we'll see what remains afterwards that needs to be crafted from just straight ingots. Start with the power coils first, because these are the ones that I have in question for the Zascosium and the rest of them. I think they're 2 each. I'm about 90% sure. We'll see right here as I let go of the mouse button if that's the case. And dropping it here. Yep, sure enough, so it's 14. That was the one I was really concerned about. Okay. Just pretty much can dump most of this stuff in there. Lights I want to keep. Cargo box I'll keep. Don't care about that one. Don't need the ventilator. Have to make some more growing plots. Let's see. 12 plots, okay. A lot of this stuff is just irrelevant, more or less, but some of it may be useful, so I'll keep some of it behind. Silly thing. And that one, ding. I'll keep the doors. Food processor don't need. Actually, the doors we don't need either, so I'm going to be breaking down more stuff, so pretty much all this stuff I can toss in there. More wood than I needed, but that's okay. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and do the steel. If I need to craft them, I will. Because the hardened steel are really the ones of interest, so. Okay, and I know there was a few more in the cargo boxes yet. So we'll take a looky here. Wrong box. It's in one of the 3s. I can't remember which one. Oh, there they are. Okay, I think the last one was empty. Yep, okay. Back into the factory menu. This can go in. Select on the regular window blocks and truss blocks. The antenna we don't care about. So, we do have a bunch left behind. So I'll go ahead and craft that stuff up and bring you back in. You'll see we are back down actually to 2 hours. So after I do the ingots, it is going to actually be a couple hours in game before this completes. So that being the case, I think I will likely wait until next time in order to spawn the ship. I'll do that in between episodes as I'm running around doing other things in the area. So, I guess that should just about wrap this up. You know that found a couple more things that were screwed up and just weren't right. What I do know though is that I'm alright. It's a world that's all wrong. It's just a matter of perspective after all. I thank you all very much for watching, and take care.